Steve and Jill here.
Guten Tag.
Welcome. You look up different ways to say hello.
I only know about 4, in case you haven't noticed.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how deals don't close themselves.
Oh, I wish they did. And it's funny how many people think that once you just get the ball rolling, it's just gonna happen. Yeah, right.
Jill and I have actively chosen, we can choose what to work on. We're at that point in our career. We can choose to develop new websites that we can sell to private equity companies, which we're doing. We can choose to work on real estate deals, which we're doing. But we've actively chosen for the next few months to sit in an office together, for better or for worse, and I create and generate real estate transactions, and Jill does them. And what I've learned, and thus the title of the show, is how much freaking work goes into purchasing a piece of property from a phone, just on the phone, and there's a lot of time and a lot of manipulation and just a lot of stuff to do to get somebody to sign, to get a deal done. Let's just put it that way, and we'll talk all about it. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Daniel shares, "Hi everyone. I know that the majority of the people in this community sell land for cash, and I usually do as well. However, I have a piece of land in Utah that I'd like to sell on terms. I'm hoping that someone can share a good template for a land contract that they are using. Cheers, Daniel." Well, that's probably in chapter 8, 9. I don't know.
Yeah,
we have one in there.
In the cash flow, the original program, cash flow from land program, there's contracts.
Exactly.
That it's all at the end. There's a bunch of agreements and tools and a dictionary and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, I'm glad you mentioned Utah, because every state's very, very different on this topic. And as people get more creative from how they invest in real estate, us included, there are more and more rules being developed state by state. So check Utah, and they may say, I'm sure that they're going to have a lot to say on how you sell a property on terms. For example, we used to do a lot of term sales in Arizona and California, and they're so dramatically different. And Colorado, really dramatically different on how you're supposed to sell property on terms. So step one is not so much a contract. Step one is to really pull the statutes and talk to some people who are already doing it successfully, which is what you're probably doing here. And I'm glad.
Thank you.
Today's topic, deals don't close themselves. This is the meat of the show.
I was making what you were talking to the intro. It was making me think of the call that I had with the sweet lady named Mai yesterday, who you heard about, 6 phone calls back and forth.
Yeah.
How about this? Okay, I'll talk to my husband. I'll call you back. And how about that? Okay, I'll talk to my husband and call you back. So sometimes it takes that. And then there's those deals. It's so funny. Sometimes there's those deals that they call up and it's one phone call and you're sitting at your computer I have Parcel Fact open all the time anyway. And they call in. I already know the area. I look at it, give them 30 seconds. I say, does that work for you? It works for me. They say, yes, done. Send me the purchase agreement. And here we go. That's the perfect scenario. Then we have the middle where there's maybe a few phone calls back and forth, talk it over with the family, make sure nobody wants it kind of thing. All right, now we're ready to go. Then we have the ones like the one I just described, where it's a bunch of phone calls back and forth. I guess she just had to feel it. She needed to wrap her head around selling the property. She knew she wanted to. They had to be in agreement. And, there we go. So
everybody's different. In general, they look to you and see how you want to do it.
Right.
And so on a couple shows ago, I think we talked about, how Jill embraces these sellers and why they almost immediately, within seconds, start down the path of trusting her.
Right.
That's really what this is all about. Establishing trust with the seller so that you can get the deal done and all the steps that it takes. And, it's really true. These deals don't close themselves. Everybody's got, when you first get into this business, everybody has preconceived notions about it, usually from real estate deals that they've experienced or they watch their parents do that involve their primary residence. And this is the nicest way I can say that. I mean, we spend a lot of time undoing those perceptions.
I think I think people hear all they hear is, "Oh, my parents bought for 400,000 and sold for 1.2."
Yeah.
So that's what they walk around knowing. They don't know what all went into that, by the way. And then
Exactly.
getting the deal done, we are guilty of that too. I mean, that's what we talk about. Initially, we will share, I bought it for this and I sold it for that. And we are really good at making things look easy. That's part of it, I think.
You know why?
Too.
Because it is easy for us.
It's true.
Because we've done almost 16,000 transactions.
That's true.
And so what I have to remind myself sometimes of is that not everybody's done 16,000 deals.
Exactly.
Not everybody's done 5 deals. So
That's why we're here, though.
Exactly.
Because we can help. We can share. We've done it.
Yep.
Exactly. What were you going to add something?
No.
I'm going to interrupt you. Well, my thing is, people think that a couple things about deals don't close themselves. Number one, you have a deal, everybody's on the same page, you open escrow, you think you can just sit back and let it happen. That could not be further from the truth. The times that I would love to have one person call me. I don't think I've ever experienced a perfect scenario where I did not have to reach out and push a deal along. I've never. Can you think of one?
I can back in the day because
Okay.
the way that we rolled before you were here was very much unlike how we roll now. But since you've started, like that how there's
Am
a
I the
house.
problem?
No. I mean, a perfect example of how a deal doesn't close itself is the most recent Mesa, Arizona house deal we did,
Oh yeah,
where it just sat there on the MLS for quite some time.
right.
You know, and then Joe got angry one day because the
did.
people who were managing the transaction, I think, just lacked a little bit of experience. They're totally motivated, just lacked a little
Right.
experience. And what it takes is this: going through every single call that's been received on the property, calling them back, seeing if they're still interested, whether they're a seller or a real estate agent in that case, and then trying to say, what's it going
What's
to
it
take to
gonna
get this deal done.
That's it.
And so,
Are you in or
so
you're
people call with these land deals, 10s and 20, 30, 40, 50 phone calls a day.
Right.
And it's all different version of the same thing. What's it going to take to get this deal done, Mrs. Smith? What's your point? What's your press point?
Right.
You want to get it done fast because you want some cash. You want a little bit more money. I'm listening. I'm here. We'll put something together as long as it works for both of us.
Well, you have to decide too for yourself what's your threshold, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side. Like deals don't close themselves. Okay, say on the buy side, I will have a certain number that I'm willing to spend, and I won't go above it, and I will walk away, and I'll put it out there and say, this is my highest and best offer. If you're interested, great. If you're not, I wish you all the best. And I just told this woman this yesterday. I'm not going anywhere. If you wake up in a panic 3 days from now going, I wish I would have taken that offer, call me. I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. And then on the sell side, you've got to know what number you're willing to go below and set the expectation and make it reasonable. Don't be greedy, and then, and aggressively, like you're saying, try to work with everyone. If you have a really good, potential buyer, you got to make it happen.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And the other thing I was even thinking, when I think of deals don't close themselves, I just thinking the whole transaction process. That part's tricky. That's kind of what I was alluding to. You can't just throw it in an escrow agent and sit back and let it happen because you look up and go, nobody's doing anything. I thought we were supposed to close yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
no one sent me anything. That's very common. You have to continually push these through the system.
This is not a passive business.
True.
There's the passive income is this catchphrase apparently on the internet right now.
It's true.
And then now people are saying passive income through real estate. If you're a landlord, you know how not passive that is. There's no such thing as passive real estate or kicking your heels back and sitting
Could you
out
imagine?
on the beach back there and counting your money.
I
At
own
no level is that ever going to happen.
I own 10 rental homes. No one's ever been late and they never call me. You'll never hear that.
or sometimes I hear people say, I have a management company they handle all that stuff. I'm going to go to Tahiti. No, you're going to manage the management company.
That's true.
All the management company does is take the actual phone call when the stuff explodes.
Yeah.
You're ultimately going to,
Pay.
you're going to pay and you're going to be involved
Exactly.
or the business is going to die.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way
Yeah.
long before Joe.
Yeah, heaven forbid you give them a credit card number and say, don't call me. I hate to see what would happen. Could you imagine?
So I just want to here's my big picture point. This is very, very time consuming and extremely profitable if you do it right. So like I said earlier, we all have choices about what we can work on. I think it was yesterday I said
That was perfect.
we have choices. You have a choice. You can buy and sell real estate for a living. You can work at a job, or you can do both. Or you can buy and sell companies for a living. If this real estate business is too small for you. So we do all this stuff. Right now, Jill and I are actively really cranking back up our rural vacant land acquisition and sales program. I mean, I would like to see we're at about 250 grand a month now. I would like us to, by the end of the year, get to $1 million. What's between 250 and $1 million? 3 individuals.
Yeah.
3 people that we need to hire that are superstars like Jill. We need young Jills.
Thank you. I'm on it.
Because I can send out 1 million offers a minute.
I know you can.
Hey, we know your time's valuable. Thanks for spending it with us today, or some of it anyway. Join us next time for an episode called 1 1/4 acres versus 40 acres to build equity.
Love it. And we answer your questions posted on our online community found at landinvestors.com. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
I did not see when you wrote these titles. You have me intrigued. I can't wait to hear what you're going to talk about.
Do you think bigger is better in land?
Not always.
Not always.
Not always.
Do you think consistency or inconsistency is better?
Consistency.
Do you think throwing more money at it or less money at it is better?
Less. Am I okay?
I think you're batting 1,000 here,
Okay, good.
and I think that there's a huge misconception about how this all works when you build equity.
Well, I'm intrigued. Wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.